My dog attacked my stalker after he broke into my house. Now my sister-in-law says my dog is too dangerous to be around my niece. The conclusion I came to in all of this is that while my sister-in-law is well within her rights to protect her daughter, she went about it in a way that disrespected me, both as a friend and as a victim of a very recent violent attack. We were extremely close before this happened. I was always there for them, and would literally drop plans to babysit my niece if my brother and sister-in-law needed a night to themselves. The very least they could have done for me, after I was almost kidnapped and unalived, is trying to find some compromise. We went from seeing each other 3 times a week to pretty much not seeing each other at all. I invited my brother and sister-in-law over, and tried to lay all this out without being confrontational or acting like a jerk. To my surprise, my brother and sister-in-law had no real understanding that I've been having a difficult time. They thought I was basically fine and everything in my life was more or less back to normal now that my stalker is in jail. They rationalized this by saying that during the year that I was stalked, I didn't show many signs of fear. I even made jokes about having a stalker, according to them. This is partially true. I knew people wouldn't want to hang out with someone who was constantly going on and on about some bad thing that was going on in their life, and I didn't want to be that person who was perpetually in crisis, so I was lighthearted about it sometimes. However, I'm not sure if I totally buy that they didn't know I was going through something traumatic and that it was taking a huge toll on my mental state. I mean, I got a firearm and paid for tactical training. I bought a home security system. I got active in self-defense classes and strength training, things that I previously had no interest in. Plus, who just brushes off having their house broken into in the middle of the night? It seems crazy and they don't seem so emotionally unintelligent that they think that. But both my brother and sister-in-law did apologize for being insensitive, and when I pressed my sister-in-law on why my suggestion of creating the dog isn't good enough, she eventually relented and said that it would be fine. It probably helped that the entire time they were over, Thor was asleep and loudly snoring in his crate. The paranoid part of me is convinced they just don't want to deal with me in a fragile state, made up an excuse about my dog, and are now just going to come up with some other excuse about why they can't see me. I invited them over for dinner in a few days and they're coming, so I guess I'll just have to see from there. In other news, yesterday I left my dog at home and drove around my block alone. I was shaking the whole time but I did it. I keep trying to remind myself that I spent a whole year fighting back even though I was utterly terrified. I can't just lay down now that I'm so close to getting my life back.